Welcome to the Mind Your Movies podcast. I'm Ryan,
I'm Shane.
and today we're doing something a little different. We're talking about underseen non-English movies. So we're looking at movies that don't have a huge audience on. We're specifically looking at Letterboxd, but we think probably don't have a huge audience or large enough audience as it is. But we're only looking at things that are not traditionally or not in the English language, just to kind of explore some stuff that we haven't talked too much about on the podcast yet. So
Yeah, we've been picking a lot of English stuff, English language stuff, not literally English, mostly American stuff. But yeah, I figured this was a good way to recommend some movies that maybe people aren't as familiar with, and get the word out on some lesser known movies. So we have this is the Mind Your Movies podcast, so we have a convoluted criteria for our top five. So for our number five is going to be less than 50,000 views on Letterboxd. And Letterboxd we figured is a good sort of metric to just use. And then number four is going to be under 40,000. And then three is under 30,000, then 20,000. And then our number one pick will be something with less than 10,000 views on Letterboxd. So that's the idea. This was kind of fun to look through and find some options. Obviously, there were, at least for me, there were a lot of options in the 50K. And then as you go down, it gets pared down to less and less options. But yeah, I think this will be fun. And if you want to check out, you can go to Letterboxd, Mind Your Movies, all one word. And from there, it links to both of our profiles. And we'll probably have a list on there also. And I have a list on my Letterboxd. I'll make it public once this goes up. And I have like a bunch of honorable mentions on it. So feel free to check it out if you want to see it physically rather than just listening.
yeah, same here.
Cool. Do you want to start with your number five or?
Yeah, sure. Hey,
all right, cool.
I got to start. That's awesome.
That means I get to finish.
All right. Well, yeah, sure. I'll start. So my first pick, people might make fun of me for this, but I'm picking a horror movie, and it happens to be in like the 90-minute range. So
I'm shocked.
This
is a good thing about this list. We're not going to have any crossover, I don't think. And I think Ryan might have 5 90-minute long horror movies, and that might be the entire thing. That was my expectation going into this. And I actually have 0 horror movies on my list. So,
and they're all 3.5 hours or something.
Yeah, yes. I like a short movie too. Mine are all actually pretty short too.
Yeah. But I'm picking La Llorona from 2019. Which is the same year as a movie called The Curse of La Llorona, which is not the movie I'm recommending. So
yeah, La Llorona. It's like Guatemalan, right?
Yeah, it's Guatemalan. It's by Jairo Bustamante. And that's the director. It's a pretty creepy movie. I think it's definitely underseen. It's only got 48,000 views on Letterboxd. It's available for free on Tubi. If you don't want to watch it with ads, you can also rent it. It's available all over the place.
And I believe it's on the Criterion channel right now as of recording.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I feel like maybe when it came, like I think we watched this together.
Oh, we
potentially,
yeah.
All right, no, I've seen this movie. And I think it might have been on Shudder originally. So I don't know. Yeah. So it moves around streaming services a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, and right now, I mean, it's great that's on Tubi. I think, say what you will about ads, but the fact that we have a few free streaming services right now definitely helps to break the bubble of the streaming bubble, right? Where everyone's paying $1,000 a month to have 10 streaming services. Anyways, that aside.
Those are expensive streaming services.
That aside, the movie's pretty awesome. It follows, there's like an I want to say like dictator, I think, of Guatemala who's like on trial for genocide, and it kind of follows like the plights of I want to say it's his family or people that are living in his mansion while there's like protest outside, and ultimately maybe a ghost or something that's maybe trying to get revenge for some of the terrible stuff that happened, specifically to women under this guy's watch. or not even watch, his orders, right? And so um, it's clearly a lot of it is clearly about like the struggle and kind of the grappling of all this stuff with the like the female people, like his daughters. I want to say it's his daughters, but it's been a while since I've seen this movie. But it's
Yeah, and it's sort of in this sort of elevated horror type of movie where it's heavily metaphorical. You
right.
know, the is the supernatural force real or not? There's metaphorical meaning behind it. You know what I mean? But I think it's a pretty good execution of that type of movie.
Yeah, and I would say also if you're in for like the spooks, I also think it's a pretty spooky movie. Like I watch a lot of horror movies, and I wouldn't say that like just anything is gonna scare me, But I remember watching this. I remember specifically this movie made me feel pretty spooked. So if you're in for a cool, spooky, metaphorical horror movie, if you like things like what A24 does a lot, some of the more recent stuff they were getting like from Neon and stuff too, go back and give this one a shot. It's pretty awesome. It's only 97 minutes. So even if I give you a bad recommendation, it doesn't waste too much of your time.
Yeah, there you go. And I can also say that this is a good movie. Not on my list, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna like if I was going to have even seen any of the movies on your list. But I'm glad I've seen at least one, so that works out. All right, moving on to my number five. It has 47,000 views on Letterboxd as of now. This is a movie by Abbas Kiarostami, the Iranian filmmaker, one of my favorite directors. And the movie is called Life and Nothing More, and it's also known as And Life Goes On. Kind of, I think And Life Goes On is the more accurate translation of uh, the original title. Um, but yeah, I mean, Abbas Kiarostami is one of my favorite directors, and this is the second movie in the Coker trilogy, which is really cool. So I do love this movie. This is my favorite of the trilogy, but also it's kind of a cool reason to just talk about this trilogy because the first movie is Where is the Friend's House? And that is kind of follows this kid in a village and he has to find, I think it's his friends. I think he has like his friend's homework and he has to bring it to the friend, but it becomes like an odyssey of him trying to, because he's a kid, he doesn't have a car, and the kid lives far away, and it's kind of a slice of life thing, but it's very entertaining, very sweet movie. And then, so Abbas Kiarostami filmed that in 1987, or it came out in 1987, and he filmed that in rural villages in Iran. And then there was an earthquake after that movie had been filmed in that area, and the second movie is a fictional movie about a film director and his son traveling back to a devastated area after an earthquake where he had filmed a movie. And they go back and they go to different places where they film. They talk to local people and like how they're dealing with the earthquake. So it's sort of a like uh, meta narrative about them going back to where they filmed that movie. Um, and then in even more meta third movie, the third movie is about the filming of the second movie. And there's a romance between two of the actors, and it's sort of a behind the scenes of filming a movie. So we the third movie, which is called Through the Olive Trees, I believe it's called, um, is like a movie about making a movie about going back to where you made a movie. Uh, so yeah, overall the Coker trilogy is pretty awesome, and like Kiarostami has a very low key vibe in all of his movies. Like there's nothing bombastic about it. It's very simple, but everything is very well composed and very humanistic. So with like Life and Nothing More, I think it's probably my favorite of his movies, although like there's pretty stiff competition with like Taste of Cherry and Close Up are also really amazing movies. But this one definitely shows sort of the humanism in his movies and going back and seeing how people are dealing with this earthquake and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I think it's a great movie. I would highly recommend it. And the whole Coker trilogy is pretty awesome. And there's a Criterion Blu-ray set of the entire Coker trilogy. So, and it's probably streaming also on the Criterion channel and rentable and all that. So I would highly recommend that. And I would recommend watching Where's the Friend's House before you've seen Life and Nothing More. But Where's the Friend's House has like 50 something thousand reviews on Letterboxd, so it's not qualified for our top 5.
Wow, so you snuck in a triple recommendation here.
Yes, I cheated and I got a triple recommendation. And there we go. That's the way you do it. You turn your top 5 into a top 7.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Nice. That sounds like right up my alley too. I'll have to like look into those.
They're very cool. Also, they're all like around 90 minutes. It's just that it's kind of a different style of filmmaking because it is so, it's got very slice of life, I think, style of filmmaking. But it's very cool. Like, I mean, especially everything going on with Iran now. It's interesting to just see everyday life in another country, especially a country that is sort of being villainized in the media nowadays. And not that obviously their government does a lot of not good things, but to see the people living in the country obviously are not responsible for the action of the government. So yeah, very cool movies, great director, would highly recommend.
Thanks. Awesome. Well, we're going down to under 40,000 now. My next one isn't a movie that I actually love, but it is a movie I would recommend. And I know that sounds weird, but it's Them, or Ills, the 2006 French movie by David Moreau and Xavier Palude. One of the reasons I would recommend this is because it's like a really weird type of home invasion movie. It's right along the same time as like French New Extremity type of stuff that's going on, but it doesn't really feel as extreme as much of that stuff, which I think is really cool. And like it is still a scary and I think a pretty interesting movie, but it essentially follows this couple that lives in this pretty isolated place, and they start getting terrorized throughout the night by a group of people, and they're not really sure what's going on. They're trying to hide, obviously, and there's some really tense moments. And I don't really want to give away, but there's like a pretty interesting twist, of course. And in like the last like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, like shit hits the fan, and this movie gets pretty crazy towards the end. And again, like not in the extremity type of crazy way of like in Martyrs, like the end of that movie is not the type of crazy I'm talking about. But
the whole middle of that movie is insane.
Crazy. But so I think it's like an interesting piece of maybe French New Extremity by like chronology, but not really as much by like the actual extremity in the movie. And I think it still has some of like the darkness and grittiness of the time period. It's like 77 minutes. So, I think it's worth watching. It's also available currently on Shudder. And so I wanted to try to get some stuff that's like pretty easily available out there. Just so, I'm recommending these things. I don't want it to be like, obscure crap that I own that you can't find,
that makes sense.
So, but also, yeah, I mean, I think it is actually a pretty like scare inducing movie. And so I kind of wanted to highlight this as like one of the pieces of that era of French movies that like I think is really well known for being kind of grotesque. And this one doesn't feel as grotesque, but it does feel very scary still. So,
yes, I have also seen this movie, and I feel like I vaguely remember it, but I don't remember it super clearly. But I remember it being like a very tense experience. So
yeah.
I remember liking it. Like when I think of it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good movie, but I didn't stick in my head that much, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe I had to block it out. Maybe it was a little too tense. I don't know.
It is. I mean, it is only like it's only like 70 something minutes, so it is like I'm not gonna say it's the most memorable thing in the world, but it is. I would say it's worth watching for anyone out there that's looking again for more of those scary moments and that tense stuff. If you like the movie Hush or like The Strangers and movies like those types of like home invasion stuff, you might like this.
Yeah, nice. Good choice. Moving on to my number 4. Uh, Directed by Michael Haneke, Code Unknown has 39,000 views on Letterboxd right now. Barely snuck in the under 40,000 category, but yeah, this Michael Haneke obviously very how do I describe him? Controversial, I guess, abrasive, not uh, not entertaining in a mainstream sense type of a filmmaker. Confrontational filmmaker, I think, is the best way to describe him.
I think he's pretty funny, actually.
No. Very unfunny. Maybe one of the most unfunny directors. And yeah, this Code Unknown is not one of his most popular movies, but it's one of my favorites. The Piano Teacher, I think The Piano Teacher, and Cache are sort of my top tier of his movies that I've seen. I haven't seen all of his movies, but of the ones I've seen. And yeah, this Code Unknown, it came out in 2000, and it stars Juliette Binoche and a bunch of other good actors who are maybe not as famous as Juliette Binoche. But it basically, it's set in France, and it's kind of, I mean, it's a lot of it is about communication and language and immigration and also just miscommunication in different ways. Like Juliette Binoche plays an actress, and we see her filming scenes, and we also see her home life. We see different interactions in the streets, and like, yeah, different ways of miscommunication or the ways people treat each other in public. Especially like this is in Paris, so it's sort of in a city where there are all these different people and converging, and there's sort of room for that. Those types of confrontation, like social confrontations. So it's kind of hard to describe the movie, but a lot of it is shot in these really long single takes. So I don't know how many shots like are in the movie, but it might only be like 20 or 30 shots in the entire like 2 hour long movie.
That's crazy.
So it's very impressive, and just a really, really great movie. And I don't know, kind of interesting with our whole topic is about language, and the movie's about language and communication in a lot of different ways. So yeah, this one I would recommend. This is also in the Criterion collection, and it's also streaming on the Criterion channel. So I guess I just poached everything from Criterion. I will say I only have one more that's in the Criterion collection. So after this, so maybe I got a little lazy with the taking a bunch just from Criterion, but still, I think it's underrated and underseen within his filmography and everything.
But also, I mean, that's one thing about the Criterion stuff, right? I mean, like even like Jean-Luc Godard's Weekend has just barely. That's a movie I was looking at, and only barely over 50,000
Yeah.
views, and is certainly a Criterion classic and stuff, right? And even though I think a lot of movies that end up with the Criterion, what do you call it? The Criterion like treatment or whatever, right? Like, that doesn't mean that they necessarily are like well distributed, right? Well seen.
Yeah, and I think there's over 1,000 movies in the Criterion collection now, so things can definitely be overlooked. Yeah,
but there's still good recommendations usually. Also, they got great special features usually, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, true. And also, there are some special features available on the Criterion channel, where you can watch some of this. Not for every movie that's on there, but sometimes for movies that are also in the collection, they'll have some special features available, which is cool, and like commentaries and also stuff like that. So,
thanks. Cool. Also, I didn't mention for my last movie. I apologize. I swear it was under 40,000. I didn't mention it. It is 31,000 views for them. So, yeah, worth your time. But my next one, I'm gonna take a totally different shift. I'm gonna start by saying this movie's 145 minutes long.
Wow, I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, I'm shocked. All right. Is it a horror movie?
Not really.
Oh my god, what is going on here? You have a brand to uphold, Ryan. What are we doing?
Yeah, we're gonna lose followers for this. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my gosh. All right, what is it?
This is The Shadow Strays by Timo Gianjanto, who is an Indonesian filmmaker that's making Nobody 2. And when he was announced as the director for Nobody 2, I put a couple things onto my watch list from him. This and I think a more popular one called
The Night Comes for Us.
Dang, look at you. Yeah, The Night Comes for Us. That's the more popular one. But that one has way too many views. So I actually just sat down to watch this weekend because I was like, you know what? A good excuse to force myself to actually watch this pretty long movie because it actually fits into this thing. And it was pretty insane. It was incredible. It's like a John Wickian style thing, right? You have like an assassin that leaves the assassinhood or whatever and goes on essentially a revenge mission based on what might seem like a pretty small motivation, right? And
sounds like John Wick to me.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And if as people might expect from movies like this, there is a lot of blood, a lot of action, a lot of intensity, and it is definitely more bloody and gory and insane than John Wick, and Nobody and stuff like that. It's I would say it's not quite as good maybe as John Wick, and not maybe as fast paced, but gorier and messier and wilder at times. And it's incredible. There's times where I'm like, yeah, it's obviously it's also very unbelievable. There's so many plot armor moments and stormtrooper shooting and stuff like that. But it's pretty fun. It's a wild ride. That I'm thinking back to it. There's a moment where this assassin pretty much reassembles a gun and then is holding somebody down, reassembles a gun, and then unloads a clip into their face.
Wow.
It's insane. It's
cool.
It's insane.
Yeah. I remember when this movie came out, I mean, it's on Netflix, right? Isn't this,
it is.
At least in the US, it's on Netflix. And I was definitely interested when it came out, but the 2.5 hour runtime sort of kept me away and I never ended up watching it. So maybe I should get on that. Probably should.
I will say I think it did feel a bit at times, the runtime. I think it lulled in some areas. It wasn't quite, like I said, as nonstop as John Wick or something. But I don't think that really took away from it. It was pretty awesome. And there's a lot more sword play and stuff in this movie than in
cool.
in John Wick. So pretty awesome. Definitely would recommend this to anyone that's into that type of high intensity action, revenge plot movies. The other thing that I want to say about this movie is that it's on Netflix and it is. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say that it also only came out last year. So I think that's part of why it doesn't have quite as many views yet. It's only got 29,000 views. But I would recommend that you make yourself one of these next 1,000 views, getting it into the next category for us. So it's insane.
Nice. All right. Moving on to my number 3. This is my last Criterion Collection pick. I'm using it as a crutch, but they're great movies. What can I say? So this is a movie from 1987, directed by Krzysztof Kieslowski. Blind Chance. It's a Polish movie. The idea is that the main character, Vitek, I guess, is probably how you pronounce his name. He is running after a train, and the movie is 3 different timelines basically of what could have happened. Like it, this is like a butterfly effect type of a moment where now you see three different timelines of how his life could go, and uh, it involves, I don't know, it's just a really cool movie, just the way it's executed, with these different, you basically you see the first timeline of what could have happened, then you see the second one, then you see the third one. But yeah, it gets into like Polish politics and this is like before the fall of Berlin is, before the fall of the Soviet Union. And this is, I believe Poland had like a communist government at this time. So a lot of that is involved in the movie. And it's just a really cool premise for a movie. I don't necessarily want to like get into that much of the story, but it's a really cool premise for a movie, very well executed. And yeah, Krzysztof Kieslowski is just a really brilliant director. He did the Three Colors trilogy, which Three Colors trilogy and Coker trilogy, probably two of my favorite trilogies of all time. So I get to talk about both of them. Although all the Three Colors trilogy movies have too many views. So now I'm able to recommend 4 movies with this one pick. And now I've gotten like a top 11 or something like that. I'm cooking now. But yeah, Blind Chance. This is before the Three Colors trilogy. It's still when he's in Poland. He ends up, making the Three Colors trilogy in France. But yeah, really great movie, and it is also currently on the Criterion Channel. So yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of fame for Criterion. Where's your paycheck from Criterion, by the way?
I pay them. I pay them my charter. So I'm a charter subscriber though, so I get the discount.
Wow, what a deal! What a deal!
Well, yeah, I'm so lucky to give them my money
and free advertising,
and the free advertising. Yeah, well, it's for good pieces of art.
Yeah, no,
I appreciate the Criterion Channel, like making things so much more accessible. They have just such a wide variety of things from across time, across all sorts of countries. Yeah, I mean, I didn't do any short films on my list, but in my honorable mentions, there's a short film, an African short film. I think I talked about it a few episodes back, and it has like 600 views on Letterboxd. But I found it on the Criterion Channel, and it's really great. So, yeah,
nice.
I don't feel bad giving them the free advertising.
Yeah, they deserve it, 100%. Nice. Well, you're sneaking in so many extra includes here with the trilogies. My next one is really an include for a whole genre.
Whoa, hold on. That's where I draw the line.
No, doesn't matter.
I know this is going to be a damn found footage movie, isn't it?
It's not. See?
Oh,
I'm surprising you left and right here. This is not actually, my whole list does not have any found footage.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, it was hard. This is an include for pretty much all of giallo, but this is The Psychic by Lucio Fulci, which, okay, I watched it in English, but
I was going to say, giallo, a lot of it is in English.
Yes, but these are all Italian movies that are made, and when they're shot, they're normally, the actors just speak in their native language, whatever it is, and then they just dub it in Italian and in English at the time, no matter what. So they're dubbed in both, and usually there's very little difference. And I'm going with it. It doesn't matter.
It's sort of like watching anime. You could watch the sub or the dub, and either one is kind of valid because it was originally intended to have both as an option.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, so I don't think, and like Dario Argento, he like does a lot of his own, oversees a lot of did oversee a lot of the dubbing that happened for his movies, right? And I don't know, I'm sure Lucio Fulci also did, but so this movie is pretty crazy. It's a 1977 kind of like supernatural giallo movie where a lady sees a murder take place, but it's in her head. She's like a psychic, right? Or she thinks she might be a psychic. And it's her, the gist of it though is that it's her husband's house. And so she's like, holy crap, what did I see? So without spoiling too much, she like all in like the first like 20 minutes maybe. She like tears up one of the walls and finds a dead body. And so she's like, this is what I saw, right? So she tries to like figure it all out, and she essentially goes on like a buddy cop chase, or not a buddy cop chase, a buddy cop movie for a little bit, trying to figure out who's the killer, or like what happened. She already thinks that her husband did it. And there's some crazy twists and turns, and it follows. If people are out there that have watched giallo, I would say it probably follows a pretty giallo, format. You got the gloved hands and the unseen killer and all these things. It's one of the supernatural giallo, which is a little bit less common, but in general, a lot of giallo still did that. So, and it's pretty awesome. The twists and turns are a huge amount of fun. I watched this not too long ago, and I mentioned it at the beginning of one of our full episodes, I think, and I didn't say too much, but I just had to highlight it again, and it only has 19,000 views on Letterboxd. It's available on Tubi or on Shudder without ads if you have Shudder. And like thinking back on it, this is just a huge amount of fun to watch, and I definitely recommend it to anyone, whether you're into giallos or not. Gialli. Definitely recommend. I think it's a cool, even a cool intro maybe to giallo if anyone's like thinking about that type of movie and wants to look into it. So
yeah, and also the movie where someone thinks they saw or heard a murder and then they investigate and like maybe go crazy, or they get in too deep. Like just a great subgenre of movie.
Yeah, and like it's a cool mix of kind of giallo and which happens kind of a lot in giallo, but definitely a cool genre, and that happens a lot in like movies today. So I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but definitely.
Well, there's Rear Window.
Yeah,
probably
right.
One of the early examples at least, and then there's like Blowout, The Conversation. What are other ones? There are some other ones too, but
yeah.
Blow Up. Also,
yeah,
he finds like a dead body, right? It's always something like that. You see a dead body, you see something, yeah.
So yeah, if you're into any of that type of stuff, this is awesome. I would say the only thing, some people aren't like keen on like supernatural stuff, but like, I don't know. Hey, you know what? It's not like a ghost, suck it up, watch a movie.
Yeah, just go with it. That's the idea. Cool. Yeah, I will have to check that out.
Nice.
All right, moving on to my number 2. I've got my first non-Criterion Collection choice here. Movie directed by Helene Cate and Bruno Forzani. It's a Belgian and French movie, I guess. The directors are Belgian, but it's set in France. I don't know if it might be a co-production. It's called Let the Corpses Tan. I think I talked about this at some point on the podcast a little bit, but to talk about it more, this movie's pretty fucking awesome. It only has 18,000 views on Letterboxd, and it's 92 minutes long. And this movie is like style out the wazoo. I think I at least, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or not, but it seems very inspired by like Tarantino and also Gaspar Noé. And it's just like in your face, like hyper stylized action movie, basically, where there is gold or that people want, and they're trying to get it. And there's all different parties involved. Basically, like these criminals have a bunch of gold, and they end up in like a little village or like seaside village in I think it's in the south of France. And yeah, they have people chasing them, and they're trying to get the gold and all this kind of stuff. And the story may sound normal, but the way it's executed is like very exciting and off the walls. And I think for anyone who's into movies and into like bold filmmaking, this is definitely something that you should check out. So yeah, I would highly recommend this.
Nice.
I don't know if it's really available for streaming right now. I think I watched it somewhere, but you can definitely rent it. And there's like a Blu-ray and everything, so
Nice. Um, my last one also. Well, I'm heading to my last one. You still got one more, but my last one is also not as easily accessible as the other ones. Um, but I wanted to highlight this also because this is another one that I was like, you know what? It's been on my watch list. We're about to do this episode. I should just watch it and see what I think. And it was pretty awesome. So this is a 2023 movie called Chronicles of a Wandering Saint by Tomás Gómez Bustillo. Um, it's an Argentinian movie, and it takes place in a small town called Santa Rita, where a lady named Rita uh, is kind of like bored of her husband, kind of bored of her life, looking for um, maybe having like a late life crisis or something, right? She's like very, very religious, but also struggles with like she wants to be like uh well regarded, kind of known, maybe, right? All these things. And she thinks that she found a lost a statue of a saint that's been lost for many years. And her priest says that it would be a miracle, right? If that's what she found. Um, and I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but about halfway into the movie, the whole movie changes. It's all I'll say is that the credits roll about halfway through.
Oh, interesting.
It's
Cool.
such a weird choice, but it actually makes a lot of sense in that movie. But it's pretty wild. It premiered at South by Southwest in 2023, and it doesn't have like a super wide release right now, but you can find it. I think you can rent it on Vudu. And so that's how I saw it on Vudu, and so you can definitely see it there. I think that might be the only place at the moment, unless there might be other kind of releases. Maybe I'm not too sure, um, but it's
Nice.
100% worth the watch. I can't even really talk too much about it without spoiling anything because, again, like halfway in, there's a huge thing that happens that the whole movie changes. So, it's a comedy. It's like a supernatural comedy, and it's really funny. It's really kind of emotional and interesting, and yeah, there you go. I would
Cool.
highly recommend
That
this one.
that sounds really cool. I'm not familiar with the movie, so it's on the watch list now. And yeah, hopefully the way you described it with the the big change halfway through it kind of reminded me of this movie Happy as Lazzaro. I don't know if you know this movie. It's on Netflix. It's an Italian movie. It has like 100,000 views on Letterboxd, so it's does not qualify for our Underseen list. But yeah, that's just what I thought of off the top of my head. But yeah, that's on my watch list now.
Interesting.
Hopefully I'll see it at some point.
It's only got 2.8 thousand views, so make yourself help it
Yeah.
get to the 1,000, the 10,000. You know.
All right. Now for my number one, the final, the with 7.7 thousand views on Letterboxd, we have La Moustache. The Mustache, directed by Emmanuel Carrere. Carré? I don't know how to say that. He's French. Yeah, this is a movie about a guy named Mark. Mark with a C. Already a red flag. Just kidding. Just kidding. I think he's just French. That's why it's a C. But he has a mustache. And one day, people all of a sudden are, well, no, one day he shaves off his mustache. And he's had it his whole life. He decides, you know what? I'm going to try to shave my mustache, see how it looks. And he waits to see if people are going to react. How are people going to react to me not having my mustache? And no one says anything, and no one tells him anything at all. And he's waiting for people to react. And he eventually is like, well, "What do you think about my new look? I don't have my mustache." And they're like, "What are you talking about? You still have your mustache." And as an audience, we see he does not have a mustache, but everyone else in the world is telling him that he has a mustache and that he has not shaved his mustache. And it's this super strange movie. I kind of expected more of a comedy going into it, just because it's like kind of absurd, the whole the whole idea of it. But it's really more of this like weird, like existential drama kind of a thing. And it's a really, really cool movie. It doesn't really answer a lot of questions. It kind of just gives you this totally weird scenario and plays it out. But it's also the director's first movie, and it's a very impressive debut. Like, it's really well made, and I don't know. I think it shows a lot of restraint of how for a first movie. A lot of times, I feel like first movie people are like kind of throwing everything at the wall a little bit, but I think this one's really a really interesting movie, and it's also available, at least in the US right now. It's on Amazon Prime Video. It's also like, I'm sure it's available to rent anywhere, but yeah, so it is accessible. It's just I think people maybe don't know about the movie. So yeah, this was my pick for under 10,000 views. It's only 87 minutes, and it's definitely a one of a kind movie that'll make you think about what's really going on in this story. So yeah.
That's funny. We both picked kind of maybe indie, kind of existential, low budget, I assume, movies in like the 80-minute range for our under 10,000.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is funny. And you didn't pick a horror movie. I'm shocked. You only have 3 horror movies? What?
Yep.
What's going on here?
Listen, I gotta tell you something, Shane. I don't know how to say this. I've been meaning to say it for a long time. I don't only watch horror.
No, that's a lie. You can't lie. You can't lie on the podcast.
Yeah, pretty much the only non-horror I watch is for the podcast.
All right, cool. Well, hey, I think that was some pretty good picks. So we did no overlap. It's pretty broad.
Yeah.
Thing, so I'm not surprised there wasn't any overlap. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many options for movies that I'm sure any one of us, even any one of you listening, probably could recommend that you think not enough people have seen. We had some limitations for how we did it, obviously, with doing like under 50,000, under 40,000, etc. And that did make it so we couldn't include all the things we wanted to, I'm sure. And
I have to say,
yeah.
I may have fucked up La Mustache. I think what happens is he shaves the mustache, and then people tell him that he never had a mustache.
Oh, that's crazy.
So not that he still has it, but that he actually never had a mustache. So unless the Letterboxd description is wrong, I think I was wrong. So it's whatever. It's basically the same idea. People are telling him something that he knows is not true. Is he going crazy? So it's the same idea. It's just slightly different. But just wanted to put that out there in case there's any big La Mustache fans that were pissed off. They're like, this guy didn't even watch the movie.
Yeah, right. One of the 7.7 thousand people that have watched it on Letterboxd.
Hey, there could be a big La Mustache fan out there.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I hope so. If so,
well, I'll tell you what. Sean Baker has seen La Mustache. I have it right here. He has a review on here. So
Shane has the receipts.
I have the receipts. It's kind of cool. He has a Letterboxd account. You can kind of just follow him, and he just pops up. His little awesome. Coffee cup profile picture. I recognize it every time. I'm like, oh, Sean Baker's seen this one.
That's awesome. But yeah, so we obviously can't include, or we couldn't have included all of the things we wanted to because of the limitations we had. And so we do. I certainly have some honorable mentions. I know you do too. And I also wanted to mention, in place of some honorable mentions, I wanted to highlight a few things that we've actually talked at least a little bit about on the podcast before that do fit into this. So that if anyone's watching this, just as a way to maybe think about exploring things they haven't seen, some underseen foreign movies that they maybe haven't watched all of our episodes, they might know where to go back to for some of them. But Shane, did you want to start with any of your honorable mentions?
Oh boy, I have so many. I have on my list, I have 24 honorable mentions listed. So
holy shit.
I'm not gonna name them all, but
yeah,
maybe a couple.
like 5.
Yeah, a couple of them. There's the original The Ballad of Narayama, which I talked about on our Demon Pond episode, I believe. It's sort of a kabuki style. Well, it's a movie, but it's in the style of a kabuki play. And yeah, really great movie. Only 11,000 people have seen it on Letterboxd, so I would recommend that. There's also a remake from the 80s, which I think is a more transgressive and explicit, but I haven't actually seen it, so I can't comment on that. But the original is really good. Great movie. Am I just going straight through? Yeah, we don't have to switch off.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Look, I'll be quick. The movie with 599 views on there is A Certain Morning. It's a short film. It's from Burkina Faso, and yeah, really great short film. It's on the Criterion Channel. Would highly recommend that, and it has under 1,000 views. I mean, the thing is definitely underseen. Also, something that has 49,000 views and almost made it. This is a really brilliant movie. A Pigeon Sat on a Branch Reflecting on Existence, directed by Roy Anderson. Roy Anderson is a great director, totally unique style. And this is like an absurd, dark comedy, like existential comedy. And would highly, highly recommend this movie. And like, if you like this movie, I think you can go and watch any of his other movies, and they're kind of a similar style. But yeah, really great movie. It's just there's only one spot for the under 50K category, so had to pare it down. Another one that really was really close for that 50K spot is Police Story 3, Super Cop. Jackie Chan, just one of the greatest action stars of all time. Amazing. The stunts in this are incredible. And this one, I really wanted to put it on there, but it's just tough. It was tough to decide. And then maybe for my last pick, I'll say The House is Black, which is another short film. It's on the Criterion Channel, 36,000 views, directed by Foro Farrokhzad. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but she's a poet, Iranian poet. And this is the only movie she ever directed. But it's about it's like a documentary about a leper colony in Iran, and it's really fascinating and like beautifully shot. It's only like 20 minutes long, so I would highly, highly recommend that. And I'm gonna sneak in one more because I'm the king of sneaking in extra recommendations. Werner Herzog's The Enigma of Caspar Hauser. This thing only has 36,000 views. It's directed by Werner Herzog. I think it's maybe his best movie, or maybe my favorite at least. Also, Lessons of Darkness is pretty awesome, but Lessons of Darkness is technically in English, like the voiceover's in English. But this one is German, and it's on Tubi. It's pretty awesome. There's a guy who has been like locked in a cell or a kind of a dungeon for like the first maybe 20 something or 30 years of his life, and he comes out and he's sort of this enigma, and he's experiencing society for the first time, and it's a pretty fascinating like commentary on just humanity and society and how absurd certain things are. Really great movie. So there's my it was 6 recommendations, but 2 were short films, so that balances out.
That works. I've got a couple of recommendations as well. I think I'm going to just throw in 3 recommendations, and then I do want to just highlight a few movies that we've actually talked about already on the podcast, just so people can go back and watch those episodes if they haven't seen them. But some of my recommendations real quick. Smoking Causes Cancer, which is Quentin Dupieux. Or Dupé. It's a kind of like Power Rangers-esque thing that's like really crazy.
That is a cool movie. I also have a Quentin Dupieux movie. I think that's how you say it. Dupieux? I don't know. But I also had one on my honorable mentions. Keep an eye out.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
It's only 73 minutes, so you'd love it. It's on Tubi. Yeah, but that's also a good one.
Nice. It's not, he's never beat his masterpiece Rubber, which if anyone's not seen, it is it would not fall into this category for a few reasons, but either way, it's about a killer tire. Go watch it.
It's awesome. Rubber's awesome. We got to do Rubber on the show at some point.
I would love to.
We got it.
That'd be awesome. But this Smoking Causes Cancer does come in at 50,000. One of the reasons I didn't actually pick it for my under 50,000 is because it's technically 50,000. but it is also pretty short. It's on Hulu right now if you have Hulu. And it's just it's a lot of fun. It's really absurd. It's hilarious. It starts with like a battle with I think it's like a huge mutated turtle. And it's pretty wild. I would definitely recommend it. It's only like 70 something minutes. It's worth your time for sure. It's a comedy.
Yes. I agree.
Another one I want to recommend is A Bay of Blood, which is Mario Bava in 1971. And all I'll really say about this, because I think if you want to watch it, you'll know if I say this, is that it's kind of like, you can kind of imagine some inspiration for like Friday the 13th and similar like campy, literally camp movies. And it's like a gory, not particularly gory, I guess, considering the name's Bay of Blood, but definitely a kind of proto-slasher giallo movie. And Mario Bava is awesome. Watch his stuff. He's great.
Yes, Bay of Blood is a good movie.
And it's available right now on Shudder and Tubi. So you got some options.
Nice.
The last one I'll mention real quick, which I did talk about it on podcast before, but not too much, was Masahiro Shinoda's Double Suicide. When we watched Demon Pond, I went ahead and watched this also. It's made by the same director. And I just love the cinematography of this movie and the style choices it makes of like having theater hands actually move around set pieces and stuff during the movie. It feels really interesting. And it's kind of like a tragic romance movie from the 60s. And it's only got 7.3 thousand people that have seen it. So nice. I definitely recommend watching it. I'm just going to throw it out there. I did watch it online. You can find it online.
What was the name of that again?
Double Suicide.
Double Suicide, yes.
So those are my 3 recommendations, and then I do also just want to really quickly go through. From what I got, I think we've talked about 4 movies on the podcast that have actually fit into this category. So I do want to just quickly go over them. Cool. Maybe 5. I should double check. I'll just say A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I don't know if it falls into this, but I imagine it might.
I don't think so. I think it might have too much because I think I saw that.
Darn. Well, still a wonderful movie by, and no, it's too much.
Not qualified. 189,000 views.
Wow, that's way more than
Letterboxd. Yeah.
That's great. That's probably all after our episode.
Imagine. Yeah.
Well, I'll skip it, but still watch it. But the original, the original Insomnia, is it Swedish or Norwegian?
I think it's Norwegian.
Norwegian.
But the main character is Swedish in Norway, I believe.
Yeah, right. So we did talk about this in our remakes episode, although not too in depth on this one because we mostly talked about the remake, obviously. But it's impossible to talk about the remake, especially for this movie, because it's very similar. So, if you've seen the Christopher Nolan Insomnia, I think we both recommend going to check this one out. It's pretty awesome and probably just better, we would say.
Agreed. That was a good movie.
It's only got 28,000 views. So I think it's great that it has an American or an English remake, but I think, I hope that might drive attention to it. So if people have seen that, go back and check out the source there. It's pretty awesome. We also, of course, we've already mentioned Demon Pond a few times because that's a recent episode, but Demon Pond only has 6.9 thousand views on Letterboxd, and we'd probably both recommend maybe if people check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think a little bit more, but I think we both enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked it.
Cool. Okay, and then real quick, last ones in my top 5 underrated movies. I mentioned Black Sabbath by Mario Bava, which is an anthology of 3 kind of weird, spooky movies from 1963. One of them's like a killer calls a house. One of them's like a weird, maybe vampire thing. And I actually kind of forget the other off the top of my head, but totally recommend going to see that if you can.
Yeah.
And lastly, I also mentioned Mikio Yamamoto's Bloodthirsty trilogy, which consists of Lake of Dracula, The Vampire Doll, and Evil of Dracula. And all those movies have way too few views on Letterboxd still. So I'll mention those until I die.
Nice. All right, now I'm gonna sneak in more recommendations. All right, Diamantino. It's like if it's completely absurd Portuguese movie. It's like if Cristiano Ronaldo got involved in like international espionage and mad scientists and weird surreal bright color imagery and like giant dogs. Very cool movie. Would recommend. And also Jetam Jetam, directed by Alain Resnais. Really cool, like memory time travel movie that I would definitely recommend. The Match Factory Girl, Aki Kaurismäki. Only 69 minutes long, and it's like really brilliant. So I would definitely recommend that. Also, Kaneda, which is Yorgos Lanthimos' first movie. Most people don't like it, but I think it's really good. So take that for what it's worth. District B13 and also the sequel, crazy parkour, like campy movies from the early 2000s in France. Highly recommend. And on a more serious note, well, this one is technically in English, but it's a documentary about Palestine. It's called Gaza Fights for Freedom. Came out in 2019. Obviously, things have changed a lot in Palestine recently, gotten a lot worse. But I think it's a very enlightening. It's also, pretty dark and sad. And I understand if people are like, yeah, I don't really want to watch that. But I think it's worth recommending for people if you want to learn more about uh, what the genocide that's happening in Palestine. So maybe I should have started with that and then ended with the more fun movies.
Well, yeah, now we're ending on a downer.
But Diamantino, it's like if Cristiano Ronaldo was like involved in espionage. It's crazy. It's a crazy movie.
Yeah.
So I'll just double recommend Diamantino.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen that one before too, and would also recommend it. It's pretty wild.
Diamantino?
Yeah, I think we might have watched it together.
I don't think so.
No, when you described it, it sounds so familiar.
Maybe.
Or maybe I just watched it at
maybe. I don't know. Who knows? It's definitely possible. Either way, it's a cool movie.
Yeah, I've seen this.
You,
okay. I don't know if I saw it with you or not, but it must not have been with you because it's before I had Letterboxd. I don't have
it's not on your diary.
It's not on my diary. That's
Gotcha.
Crazy. I don't know I don't know why I watched this before.
I don't know. I probably told you about it, and then maybe you checked it out because I think it was on some sort of streaming service at some point.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we could talk all day about movies that we would recommend that we think people haven't seen, and that we think deserve more attention. And I don't think we want to do that though, because you guys won't listen to all that. So those are a bunch of our recommendations, including our 5 maybe more lengthy picks. So I hope you guys check some of those out. Please let us know what some of your picks are, or if you end up watching any of these or have seen any of them, let us know what you think, because we love to hear what you guys think and love to be able to chat with you guys and discuss our mutual film.
Also, big update. We have a subreddit now. You can go to reddit.com/r/mindyourmovies.
That's right.
And go on there and you can post not whatever you want, but things that are movie related, things that are related to the podcast, things that are related to movies. Go on there, post some of your recommendations for like some Underseen movies. That'd be cool. Yeah. I would appreciate recommendations. I always like learning new stuff. But yeah, I think kind of just thought that would be a cool idea of a place where people can, converse about movies. And so check it out.
Yeah. One thing that we love about our Letterboxd followers is that we get a lot of comments from people on Letterboxd, which is great, and we love that. But we also want people to be able to share stuff with us in a less specific way, where you don't want to necessarily you don't have to share it on this specific review, right? You can share it however you want, as a picture, as a link, whatever, on Reddit. So We put
Yeah.
that together, and you might even see, some sneak peeks of episodes or something on there. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
Cool.
So,
Yeah, and we'll post like once the episode comes out, we can post that on there. But I think it is a better way of like the Letterboxd comment system isn't necessarily the most like in like user friendly, I guess. It's a little bit rudimentary, whereas
yeah,
Reddit is a little bit better for like more discussion, I think.
building a community, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
what we're envisioning there, right? Is instead of just leaving comments, now we can actually have a community where people are sharing stuff together and all that stuff. So,
Yes, exactly. And share like just movie stuff. Like we just make movie
yeah,
stuff. Like if you like see a new trailer for like the Odyssey comes out, like you can just put that in our subreddit and that'd be cool.
yeah. Also, even for like if you have friends that like movies but don't even watch our podcast and whatever, that's fine. One, show them the podcast, it's awesome. But two, even if not, like invite them to the subreddit, because we hope that that's just a place where people that like movies, even that don't necessarily watch our podcast, can still share and discuss movies. So
Like definitely 100%. So yeah, check that out. Check out our letterbox. Like I said before, mind your movies, all one word. And we got our links to everything else. And yeah, thanks for watching and listening. Hopefully this will encourage people to watch some foreign language movies, because if you're letting subtitles get in the way, you're missing out on like such a diverse, just experiences. Like a lot of things with watching movies from different countries, it is like seeing a window into a different experience than your own. I think it can be really valuable just for people in general, just to get a little bit, broaden your horizons a little bit of what uh, different people's experiences can be like in all around the world, and it's cool. You can watch a movie that's set in Paris, and you're like, wow, this is what Paris looked like in 2005 when they shot La Moustache. Like, wow, that's cool. Uh,
yeah,
but
and
yeah,
you can definitely learn a little bit about like the influences of maybe some of your favorite things, right? Like, I mean, that's how I got into giallo, right? Is because I'm a big slasher fan. And it turns out there's a huge lineage of that in Italy before coming over to the States, right? Or even like things like Insomnia, right? It's, if you love Christopher Nolan and you've seen that movie, uh, you might not even know, but it's based on a different movie from a different place, and uh,
a better movie too.
yeah, better movie, right? So
In my opinion.
there's a lot to be learned from all this stuff. So I hope that people get out there and enjoy. Well, I mean, I don't know why we're lecturing to you guys. You guys are here to listen to and learn about more stuff. So
We're not lecturing. I'm just,
no, not
I'm just,
lecturing. I know.
I'm
Not
just saying. I think that's why I think this was a fun episode to do.
definitely. No, I didn't mean that in a stop lecturing way. I just mean we're glad that you guys are here to enjoy different movies with us. So
Yes. All right. I guess that's that. We'll see you next week. We got an exciting episode, and also it kind of worked because we haven't been picking a lot of foreign language movies, so it's nice to do this episode. But our next episode is New York City movies, so they will not be foreign language movies. We're doing Do the Right Thing and After Hours, which are two fantastic New York movies. So check in next week for that. And then the week after, I think we're going to be doing another top 5 for our favorite movies directed by women, because again, we are American men who watch movies and then pick a bunch of movies directed by American men. So we're trying to, diversify a little bit with some recommendations for people in our half episodes. So I think that'll be cool. And there's a lot of movies to pick from, so it'll be a cool episode.
yeah, definitely. So in the meantime,
Don't forget to mind your movies.